Hey everybody, welcome into Camel Call. Before we start the show, we recorded today, this morning, on Friday, May 3rd, but things have already changed because of the weather up in Delaware. Campbell's softball final two games of the series will be tonight, Friday night at 5 and 7. Why is this important? They're playing for a championship, and we will go over all of that on the Camel Call show, but wanted to update you that as we have some new information, and both of those very important games will be tonight, 5 and 7 on Flow Sports. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the episode. Welcome into Camel Call with Evan Budrovich. I'm Chris Hemeyer. Thank you for tuning in to our Camel Call podcast, which you can find every week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, the Varsity Sports app, and GoCamels.com. Hey, just 2 more nights for Camel Call live this season, and this Monday night, May 6th, it'll be a softball takeover, 6:30 to 7:30 at the county seat in Lillington. We'll get you set for the conference tournament, CAA Tournament at Wilmington, North Carolina, coming up this next week. But, Evan, we may also have with us, along with Trina Prater and a bunch of our student athletes from softball, we may have a regular season conference trophy with us because it all comes down to the next 2 days.
This is sort of a tradition now for Campbell softball. The last 3 years, they've played final weekends to win regular season titles.
You're right. That's a good point.
And as we film this on Friday, so Bella Smith on Thursday night, complete game, gives up 1 hit, strikes out 7. I mean, she's amazing. Yep. 23 wins. And that team's gritty, man. Every time I talk to Trina, she loves the resolve. She flipped the lineup around a few times throughout the year. And, yeah, they're not going to score 8 runs a game, but they score enough to win. And now they have a chance to beat Delaware twice and win the conference.
Yeah, they put themselves in a great position, quote unquote. So I was telling everybody, look, all they have to do, quote unquote, is go up to Delaware, the defending champions in the CAA, a team that's going to be FBS in the next couple of years, and they have to go up there and sweep them. Well, they did the first thing. Thursday night, 2-1. Tonight, Friday night, 5 o'clock, Saturday at 1. All those games are on Flow. If Campbell wins both games, they are the outright conference champions. If they lose one or both, they've already clinched second place, which gives you a bye in the tournament. They are, right now, clinched in the second seed, 20-5 in conference play, and Evan 12-2-1 away from the creek. This is a much better softball conference, especially the top half, and they haven't missed a beat. That's the most impressive thing, whether they come home with the regular season title or not.
And the fact that in the last 2 weeks, they've dominated Wilmington, a very good reigning regular season champ.
And the third place team in the conference.
And in that Delaware matchup, they were dominant, right? And you go back and forth, you score a winning run in the 6th, but this team has shown that they are championship level at any conference, right? And what Trina has done there is built a championship culture, and she's built on what Coach Show started, and the fact they can win 4 straight conference titles.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we talk about golf and their run on the women of nearly a decade straight of NCAA tournaments. That is one thing, individualized sport. There's team talent, but a lot of things go your way. In softball, where scholarship numbers aren't always even, we don't have the best facilities in the CAA, but we have a great staff and a hardworking team.
Yeah.
And you have an all-American pitcher in Bella Smith, who, by the way, I have a bone to pick here.
Okay.
How do you win NCAA Pitcher of the Week, but co-conference Pitcher of the Week? I'm not a voter, but to me, when D1 softball and NCAA softball are like, oh, Bella Smith throws a no-no and wins all of her games. She's the best pitcher in the country. And then the conference says, well, her and the Delaware arm, who she just beat last night, we're going to give them both the award.
Yeah. Isabella Smith, Bella Smith, you've mentioned her. It is, we have talked over the last 2 years. She's always doing something special. The fact that she is getting better and stronger is incredible. So the last 11 games that she has pitched in, Campbell has won. And for her to do what she's doing right now, she's 22-6 with a 1.84 ERA. Here is even more to it. The last 3 CAA series openers, she has given up a total of 1 hit. She had back-to-back no-hitters and back-to-back Fridays. Last night, a Thursday night, which opened this series with everything that was on the line against the best team in the entire conference so far. She gave up one hit. I mean, it just, I have not, if you played a video game, you wouldn't be able to get those numbers. And the fact that she's doing it is just incredible. Two of those three teams, the top three teams in the conference as well. She's not just doing this against the bottom. Incredible. She set the Campbell career strikeout record over the weekend. She is now 1 win away from tying 2 win aways from Campbell's career win record. Brittany Stanley Lee, friend of the program, just inducted into the Hall of Fame, has those marks. And this is just her third year at Campbell.
That's incredible, too. And it's the fact that James Madison, Odyssey Alexander was there, All-American, took JMU.
Yeah, and that's where she started.
To a national title. She didn't pitch more than a handful of innings at JMU, wants to come close to home. Her family's from North Raleigh. And now she could go down as Campbell's, like you said, all-time winningest pitcher.
Yep.
She'll be a Hall of Famer in 10 years from her retirement.
No doubt.
And she's won conference titles in the circle the last 2 years, both tournament and regular season. Like, she steps up in the big moments, as you mentioned. And this year to have 21 wins and go, well, her ERA is a tick higher than last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you start nitpicking those minute stats, and she's still top 10 in the country in wins and top 25 in ERA, like, she's gone into regionals and dominated games too against Charlotte in the Duke Regional last year. If Campbell wins a tournament, they'll be a dangerous out. They beat a top 5 Duke team when she goes the CG and shuts down a really good Duke club. Like, you put her against anybody, she's got Power 5 wins. She does well in the conference. She beat who will probably win Pitcher of the Year, Emily Winburn from Delaware.
Yeah,
those two are back and forth. Like, her story's incredible. But then, too, her performance backs up what she's been able to do.
I mean, just incredible. And I should have done the statistics beforehand to show you how even better she is. The ERA under 2. But remember, she was injured and trying to get back at the beginning of the year. So her first 6 appearances, she ends up giving up 14 earned runs. Campbell loses 5 of those 6 games. You know, a couple of Power 5 opponents in there. But that's just what's incredible, too, because she didn't start off with amazing numbers. So really what she has done since the middle of February now is in epic proportions. And another year that she will have in eligibility. She loves it here. She's already transferred once. She could come back and just put every Campbell softball record out of reach forever. I mean, she is one of the best all times to ever pitch here. And again, it's just year 3.
And you have to think back to the ASUN Big South transition, but I don't remember many players who were Player of the Year in 2 different leagues. And not only Player of the Year, but Pitcher of the Year at that. I mean, it shows that if she can pull this off this weekend, and they're dangerous out in the tournament too, right? They'll go to Wilmington. It'll be Delaware, Wilmington, them all fighting for a championship berth. But she is the best pitcher in the league, and she's carrying this team. Yeah,
just incredible. It'll be fun to watch, again, what happens this weekend, and then whether they get a trophy this weekend or not. A good chance. It would be hard not to make them the favorite in next week's. Only 6 teams makes the CAA softball tournament. Speaking of baseball, they are at first place UNCW this weekend. That's where the baseball CAA conference tournament will take place as well. Still 3 weekends to go in the baseball regular season. Campbell right now, again, up and down as they have been all year because of so many injuries. They're 1 game out of 6th place as the top 6 in baseball end up making the tournament. That's for the final spot in the CAA tournament. So William and Mary right now, 1 above them in the loss column. They are in the 6th spot. This weekend does matter as they will take on UNCW, tied with Charleston for first. But next weekend at Monmouth, a team that's below them slightly in the standings, then they will host William and Mary in 2 weekends here for the final series of the regular season. That very well could decide that final spot.
These next 6 games, so you're chasing William and Mary. You want to stay within 3 games, obviously. You look at the next 6. Not that you have to win one at Wilmington, but you need to at least go 3-3.
It would be nice
in this stretch, and you can't afford to go 2-4. Now, Monmouth, all of a sudden, you also need to win that series because they're a game back of you.
Yeah.
And then you lose tiebreakers and you're fighting for that spot. The one thing I will say, Campbell has always played up or down to the level of their competition, which bodes well for them this weekend. And Cole Peschel, since moving from the midweek to the Friday rule, has been really good. I mean, his analytics on D1 baseball He's got a top 10 slider in the country. He's got a low hit percentage. It's below 200. He's a dude that we can trust. The rest of it, you piecemeal it together. You figure it out. Jackson Roberts gives you some innings. You go to the law firm of Packy Bradley Cooney. Like, you kind of mix and match guys together. But when you're scoring 9 runs a game, now that is a pitcher's ballpark in Wilmington. The wind blows in. It's a tough place to hit. But if they can show some grit and toughness and win a game or two in that series, they put themselves in a spot where you head into William & Mary knowing we got to win 1. We got to win 2. And you're not down 4 with 3 to go.
Yeah, and me and you have both made the points. Again, we've both been very close to this program. We have seen it come to incredible heights. We know how injured the pitching staff has been. If they can just get a couple of people, especially coming out of the bullpen, consistent and healthy, because, we looked at it and it's quote unquote a bad statistic, but it's also helpful to think about how this team could turn it around and start winning consistently. Campbell's last 5 losses, they've scored 7, 11, just 2, 8, and 9 runs. I mean, when you think of it that way, it's like they don't need the bullpen to come on and be lights out, or their starters to be light out. If they can, as you say, when you're averaging 9 runs a game, if they can hold opponents to 6 or 7, they can win a lot of games in a lot of time.
Charleston's pitching staff, who we saw last week, top 10 ERA in the country, very good fielding team, great pitching staff. We swung the bats really well in 2 of those games, put up 11 in the win, and in game 2 we got outpitched, right? And Charleston scored 12 runs early. You're battling that. You're down 12-1 type of thing. But in game 3, we slugged back and forth with them and had a chance to win that game.
8 runs.
So that offense will play. The challenge is, can you hold teams to 6 or 7 and give yourself a chance to win?
Yeah, no doubt. And again, it would be great for a lot of different reasons to get 1 or 2 games at UNCW. Then they go to at North Carolina next week. But it's that at Monmouth. They've been on the road for a long time. They got to go all the way up to New Jersey. That's a series that they must win, and then would set up a potential.
Going to do a day at Portnoy and take a bite of pizza from the local, the local Atlantic Beach pizza down there, and then try it up and go to the game.
Yep, no doubt. We will definitely see what he does. But again, and if Campbell gets into the CAA tournament, I would not bet against the Camels, as the postseason is when they do it and they know how to win. So again, as things look the way they are, this is a Campbell team that just a few pitchers away from starting to roll. Those final regular season games right here in Bowie's Creek, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, May 16th through the 18th. Fireworks on Friday, May 17th. 6 p.m. starts for the Thursday and Friday. 2 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets at gocamels.com. Men's golf. You had mentioned it a little earlier. One epic streak that I don't think will ever be broken here at Campbell. Never say never, but John Crooks and his women's golf team, because of 30 miles an hour wins, they came up just short in the conference tournament. So that ended a conference tournament championship run, 7 straight, 11 straight appearances in the NCAA tournament. Both of those are epic. But with Eric Johansson from the men's side getting an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, Coach Crooks has had either an individual or a team go to the postseason now, the NCAA tournament, 15 straight years.
And to the individual credit of the true freshman, he's one of the best golfers in the CAA. And the fun part of this, Findlay Golf Course just got redesigned. That's up at Chapel Hill, their home course. So now you start with a par 3 on the first hole. It's a long, skinny course. I've played it with Stan a couple of times, Stan Cole, friend of the program. The challenge of that course is, sort of like you mentioned, when the elements get weird there, it is a hard course to score well. Now, individually, we've sent Pontus Nyholm to a national championship from his success in Raleigh. We've sent Nadine White when she won as an individual out in New Mexico and qualified for a national championship. So Crooks, and I guess in this case Matt Moot, very familiar with how to coach and guide an individual through this championship run. The grueling part as an individual, though, you have to finish in the top 3 of all the individuals.
Yeah.
Even so, the top 5 teams will go, but any individual from team 6 and down, plus the regular individuals, all compete for 3 spots.
Yeah.
So you're not climbing the leaderboard and catching 40 people. Like, you got to start strong and then stay in that top 5 to then eventually get into the nationals.
Yeah, and you love the part that it's an hour-and-a-half drive away. I'm sure he has already played the course a couple of times. Just amazing. And this is a men's golf team really building. They have fantastic freshmen, sophomores. They are really young, just graduating one. And Eric Johansson is one of those. He's from Sweden, of course, the Sweden connection there. So it'll be really, really interesting to watch to see what he can do. But no matter what, as a freshman, to get this experience, just incredible.
And if you get a chance, walk that tournament. Like walking a regional golf tournament.
Yeah,
I've done it a few
cool.
times. It's amazing.
It's really, really cool.
And the intensity of every shot, the pressure.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking back to going to a regional and seeing Colin Morikawa and Pontus Nyholm tee off at the same time. And everyone goes, yeah, this guy from Cal's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because Campbell, they fell out of the team rankings, but Pontus was individually in the run. And we were teamed up with Cal.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this Morikawa kid, I wonder.
It's pretty
good.
good.
He's an All-American, but
He's
I
got
wonder
a future.
if he's going to make it. Now he's won multiple majors, and Pontus actually outscored him that day and then went to a playoff and beat a couple other golfers and made the Nationals. But who would have thought 6 years ago what it turns into now?
Man, just amazing. Just amazing. That'll be fun in Chapel Hill, as you say, and free admission to that May 13th through the 15th. Our track team, again, another weekend, another that. Chastity Pickett has been injured a little bit while you haven't been hearing as much as them, but a lot of people here kind of saving it until what'll be the CAA Championships, May 10th and 11th, up the street at Elon. CJ McBride is healthy. He was the CAA Field Athlete of the Week. This is a Campbell track and field team that could send as many as 20 athletes to regionals, which would be another incredible. And of course, you have the Chastity Picketts, the CJ McBrides, and a handful of others that could make nationals again this year.
This is sort of like we warned you in the indoor season. Don't look necessarily at the total points. Look at the individual performances, and then look at the, like you said, outdoor field athlete, outdoor track athlete, Coach of the Year awards. Those are the type of things that Campbell could win multiple. I mean, especially with their sprint athletes. They've done better in the hurdles this year. Like in certain disciplines, they've shown they can dominate the CAA.
Hey, we want to remind you to check out the rebooted Finding Camel Club. Membership gives you access to exclusive gear, ticket opportunities, and experiences, all while helping change the lives of Campbell student athletes. More information, go camels.com, hit the give button. And while you're there, Evan, you can renew or buy your football season tickets. They are on sale now. Get a jump on it. Campbell has 6 home games this year, starting September 21st against Stony Brook. All of our times family-friendly between 2 and 5 o'clock. It's the best deal in town as Campbell football. If you missed it, we were live with Coach Braxton Harris 2 weeks ago. The podcast dropped this week. Nobody can get you fired up about football season but Braxton Harris, and so I would invite you to listen to that. It's the episode before this one here on the podcast.
And playing a Fiesta Bowl participant in Liberty week 1 at Liberty. That's a very drivable trip. We've done it plenty of times, you and I, covering Chris Clemens over the years. Like, if you want to go to a cool atmosphere and see game 1 and watch Chad Masco and this young offense, and every time you check Twitter, these new coaches are recruiting in-state. They're hitting all these local high schools. It's going to be a new-look team, but this is a team that the discipline that he brings and the accountability that his staff brings, they're going to be better in certain facets. They may not have all the 5 stars in the world, but they're going to be tough, disciplined, and follow the rules.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's 3 games on the road, 3 games at home to begin the season. But the 3 games on the road, I don't think you could get a more varied schedule. At Liberty, of course, FBS, New Year's Six Bowl participant. At Western Carolina, they will return the trip a couple of times. That's going to be a good in-state rivalry, of course. They're really good in the SoCon. And then at Rhode Island, which is your CAA opener. So it's Liberty, Western Carolina, Rhode Island. Again, you're not going too terribly far for any
the people who like that schedule who work for the Thomas Guides. The folks who build out maps, they're big fans of that schedule.
Oh, my gosh. It's sensational. Okay, we will be with you Monday night, Camel Call Live. If you can't make it to the show, the podcast will drop at the middle of next week. We'll get you set for the CAA tournament. Evan and I will be back in 2 weeks getting you set for the final baseball regular season series of the year. Everything right here, as always, on the Camel Call podcast. For Evan, I'm Chris saying so long. Have a great weekend. Go Camels.